If you have a Harley Davidson motorcycle, you probably do things to it to increase its performance. And if you do anything other than just put slip-on exhaust on your bike, you're going to have a tuner in order to maximize that performance. Today I'm here to get a behind-the-scenes tour of one of the leaders in the performance tuner industry, Thundermax. We're going to go inside, meet those guys, and take a tour and try and ask some questions specific to the 24 models that I've been curious about, and I'm sure some of y'all are curious about it. All right, we're here. This is Jake.
What's going on, guys? Jake with Thundermax here, hanging out. Gonna do a little shop tour, tell you who we are and what we're about. So, guys, been here since 1995. This is our R&D department here. This is where we kind of start things. All of our bikes are going to be housed inside of here. Well, most of our bikes are going to be housed inside of here. We've got them scattered all over the place. But this is where we're going to start developing a product, is right inside of our R&D. We have 2 dedicated dynos that we'll go take a peek at here in just a second. We make everything in-house, guys, since 1995 right here in White House, Tennessee.
That's 30 years, man.
30 years this year, so we're celebrating it, and so we've got a lot of cool stuff going on.
I reached out to y'all to find out, hey, you guys do allow me to change the top speed. And the answer I got from your tech support pretty quickly, by the way, was, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so we don't even put a, it's not even a setting. It's just kind of, the motor's going to do what the motor's going to do, and we're going to allow the motor to do what it does.
One question I've got, and it's does Harley work with y'all, or are you kind of like, you have to wait for the release, and then once the release is done, you get a hold of a bike and have to start reverse engineering it? Or is it something that,
Yeah, so generally we know what the motor company is going to do about 5 minutes after they've done it. That's kind of where we're at, right? And I think that goes a lot of that way for the aftermarket, right? The bike comes out, we're watching the releases just like you guys are. We're making phone calls, trying to figure out this, that, and learn. And then generally speaking, the day they release one of those bikes, I've got one being delivered that day that I've already bought, pre-got, set up, and we've had to go out and purchase the bike. It gets delivered, and then the tear down starts, and then let's figure it out.
So there's really no competitive advantage
as far as
industry. I mean, I'm thinking. I know they just recently announced that Dynojet's going to be their tuner for the
race series.
For the race series.
Sure.
I didn't know if that gave them any insight ahead of time.
I think.
And granted, they do it different than y'all do, the way I understand it.
Yeah, they're going to be a flash style tuner where we're a full ECM replacement, and there's. Obviously if you're a flash style tuner, you're limited to what the ECM is going to allow you to do, right? And these new ECMs are getting more and
they get more and more restrictive.
Every time you turn around, it's something, more. And you ask kind of about the competitive advantage.
Yeah.
I would say the advantage, our competitive advantage, right? Because we're not getting any intel from anybody, is that we make it all here. And our quality's here, and we can be on the ball here. So there's our advantage, right? I'm not having to call another company to get the tooling started on my circuit boards because we're building them here.
And that was another question that I kind of had was if you were to, what are like 1 or 2 things that set you guys apart? I know what attracted me to your product. But I mean, they're constantly, there's some new players that are coming in the market.
Sure. Look, I always look at everything like this. I'm never going to talk trash about a competitor.
Exactly.
That's just not how I operate. But what I will say is I'm always going to give facts, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that, kind of what sets us apart is we've been here since 1995.
Yeah.
We aren't out trying to figure out how to make jet skis and side-by-sides go fast, right? We care about Harley Davidsons, specifically American-made motorcycles. And that's it. That's who we are, right? So you're not, when you talk to Jake or Millhouse or Bobby or anybody here at the shop, you're not talking about to a dude that on the weekends, he's out on his Kawasaki jet ski, and that's what he's super into, but now he's having to deal with a motorcycle question on a Monday.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a motorcycle dude on Sunday, motorcycle dude on Monday.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing that I think sets us apart.
Yeah.
And us making it in-house.
Yeah, I love that.
It's all quality, right?
Yeah.
The only way that we know that we can produce quality is to make sure our eyes and hands are on it cradle to grave.
Excellent, absolutely.
And that's how we're going to do things. And those are the things I think set us apart. You know, and look, and we get it. There's competition out there, and there's people getting into this market that haven't ever really been in this market. And, you know, it may seem a whole lot like I threw a piece together and then I give it to this guy and that's it. It's not how it works, right?
No.
So you got to have the backup for that too, and support for that. And so having data collections where we can watch your bike run in real time.
Oh, yeah.
We're sitting at our desk right here in White House, right? And you're in your shop, wherever that may be, and we're helping you work on your bike.
Yeah.
That may be something going on, you've got an air leak or an exhaust leak. We're helping you identify that.
Absolutely.
Through email.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the support's there too. So that's kind of where we're at with things. And we know this. We just know that, you know, the electronics in these bikes is changing constantly.
Yeah.
These 24s, the 23.5 bikes versus, you know, the other M8s, not even in the same ball.
No, I can
Not
tell you,
even in the
having
same
both, having had both, they're a night and day difference.
The electronics are, the CAN system on them is completely different, right? And it took a lot. There's a lot of reverse engineering that goes into that. You know, we may be, you know, we come in, we get this bike. Obviously, this was a brand new CVO, and it's had a rough 18 months of existence. It's already been totaled and stuck back together, and so all that. But you know, you have to take this bike, completely take it apart. We've got 2 sets of wiring controls coming here. We have 2 sets of wiring controls coming there, coming in. And so you're having to interpret all that data coming and going. And everything's feeding through the ECM, through the VCM, through the IMU, through the head unit, right? And you're trying to make all those things communicate with one another, even though the ECM doesn't have the first thing at all to do with the radio. Everything's still got to talk and shake hands and play nice with one another. And so, you know, with all this technology and the way things keep advancing, it's just, it's not just learning on us, you know, but it's learning on the consumer too, right? Because there's so much going on. These things have Wi-Fi.
I like working on them myself, and I think a lot of people do. Up to a certain point, we go with what we're comfortable doing. Right?
Absolutely.
Once it's outside my wheelhouse, it's like, no, I'll pay somebody. It's worth my money to pay someone.
You know, and that's, you know, one of the things that, look, we, you know, always, you know, our ECM, a little more technical than what a lot of guys, but we make it pretty simple. Most guys can put this on, if they've got a laptop, you can put this on in your garage and be done in an hour and a half. Especially on these new bikes. Because the new bikes, you know, these new 24 bikes, they've got, in those, we've got, obviously we have our auto tuning on fuel, which we've always had, and then all the knock correction is out now too, right? So if you have a, what I'm gonna call like a stock new body, like a center cooled 24 bike, and when I say stock, I mean pipes, clear, you know. The map that is in the ECM, you just enter your bin, and walk off. It's done, technical wise, as far as being on the laptop, because that map that's in there is going to handle anything, because it has spark and fuel adjustment. So we're auto tuning 2 different things in real time. So it makes it like the easiest thing in the world. Just put it in, enter the bin, go ride. The more you ride, the better it's going to get, because it's going to constantly be setting and auto tuning. And the same deal with our suspension. We don't do any cutting, splicing wires. It's plug it in, boom, let's move on.
Probably the most difficult part of installing it is pulling your exhaust so you can put the O2 sensors in.
About the hardest part,
you know? But one question that's always kind of, if you were to rate it on percentage, right? Does the auto tune get me 70, 80, 90% of the way there without having to take it to an actual tuner and put it on a dyno to finish it off? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Kind of what is it? I like that. What does it get me? Because as someone that's doing it in my garage, one of the things that attracts me to your product is it will auto tune. So I don't necessarily have to take it to someone. Right. How much meat am I leaving on the bone if I don't? It's kind of where I'm going.
This is my honest take on it. Okay. I think for 90% of dudes that are just going to be a pretty mild build, right? Maybe it is just pipes. Maybe it is a cam too.
No, I'm doing a cam.
But let's just say it's a fairly mild build, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say it's stage 2 cam, whatever. 90% of the guys are going to be able to put that map in there, let it auto tune, and with some miles, be ecstatic with the way it's running. Then you're gonna have that 10% that wants to get that little extra out of
Yeah.
it, right? And that little extra that you're gonna pick up, can I put that in a percentage? Just know that it's more of a finesse to the tune. You're just gonna get that little extra edge out of it. What is that percentage? Is it 3%? Is it 7%? I don't know. It depends on that motor and where's that edge at, because we're constantly trying to find, out of the box, our maps are going to lean more on the conservative side on the timing tables, right? Because we don't know the size guy that's about to get on that bike, right? And what that load's going to be and how it's going to carry out the ping. So we're going to set a little more conservative. The power is right on the line of ping, right? You want to push it to right at ping, and that's where you're going to pick up all that power at. Is that 3% there on the timing side? Is it 2 points? Right, because each motor is going to be a little different. Will you get more out of a dyno? Yes.
Yeah.
For like 90% of the guys, this is going to be.
The same guy that's going to be happy riding it might not notice it in his butt.
I'll tell you
there's
this.
a difference.
Out of all the bikes here, and there's a lot of big motor bikes here, I mean, yeah, they've all been on the dyno, but to say they've been dyno tuned is kind of a tough stretch. For us, our dyno, it's not a numbers dyno. It's here for production. Go ahead, Bobby, you're good. It's here for production testing, right? That's what we're doing. Test. Yeah. My bike, I don't know the numbers on it. Yeah. I know what it feels like. I know what it runs like. That's what I care about. And that's kind of how we do a lot of things here. Nosebleed power is great if that's all you need is nosebleed power. But if you need rideability power, streetable power, where is that at? How are we going to find it? Well, we're going to find it out here when we're building our maps. Out here on the road. It's another great thing about being in Tennessee is we can turn left, right, and we're in riding territory.
And for me, it's always been that balance of power and performance with reliability. Having the ability to know, or the confidence to know, I just throw my leg over the bike, and if I want to go take a 7,000 mile trip, I don't have to worry about it.
You got it.
But I want the power and performance out of it to have fun on that 7,000 mile trip.
You know, that's what our
so it's that balancing point, right?
Give everybody both things. And the nice thing is you talk about, you know, kind of knowing you can throw your leg over and do that 7,000 mile trip. One, you know that the technology's there in our ECM, right? So you have the trust there that it's going to do it. Then you know that it's all made right here, right? Then you know that across the U.S. we have a huge dealer network.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it just adds to that, hey, one more thing, go for that ride. Go for that ride. Now, you go put a company that hadn't been out very long and doesn't have a big dealer network, do you feel as comfortable going across the country with their product?
No. I think the most important thing you can put on your motorcycle is miles.
That's it.
And you know, so for me, it's like I don't care about what your bike will do. How much do you ride it?
Right.
Where are you taking it to?
How are you riding?
How are you riding?
How are you riding? You know, and everybody's got a different. Look, me and you don't ride the same. I've never ridden with you, and I know that our riding style is probably different, just because we're different people. You know, and so to say, yeah, I carried it to a dyno tuner and he beat it all the way at wide open. Okay, cool, I got those numbers, but did he actually tune it, or was he just beating my motor to piss at wide open to show me some numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
Not saying that all dyno tuners do that, but what I'm saying is there's a need for dyno tuning, and then sometimes people are just doing it to get the sheets or whatever the thing is. Yeah. So, but we're open to all of it. So yeah, man, we've got a few different things going on. Like I said, we'll have one on the lift here in a minute.
What is that a refrigerator?
So that is a giant freezer, and what we use that for is going to be cold start testing. So we never know what the weather's going to be like in Tennessee. So if we're developing a new product, or it's a new bike, or we want to test something, we can get that thing down super low, sub-0 degrees, pull a bike in, park it, leave it overnight, come in the morning and start with our testing.
Sweet.
So cool. And it actually just went out like last week.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. And obviously when there's not motorcycles in it, it's full of beer and
whatever else.
Right, and Thanksgiving turkeys.
Yeah.
Frozen Thanksgiving turkeys, and we're all in here, and I'm like, what is that smell? What is it?
And it
I opened that door. We had.
Swear I'm not trying to steal a bike.
If you'll notice, like we have like kind of some bikes that are, like this bike right here is pretty rough. It's a dyno bike now.
Yeah.
That's all it does. You go in here, and then just kind of look around. That way we can do kind of a big loop. So like Bobby, we're just gonna walk in here a minute. Good. Same deal. This is our in-ground dyno. This is gonna be for production testing. And if you notice, like, this bike's pretty neat. We went and grabbed this one at a salvage because we knew we just needed something to wheel on and off of a dyno over and over again, just to production test. Production. We 100% test every ECM.
Every device goes
every
on before
single
you ship it
ECM
out.
goes on a bike before we ship it out the door. So Bobby's going through, doing all of our testing, getting ready to get these out to shipping. We'll go check out our other dyno. Thanks, Bobby. Yeah.
Thanks,
hey,
man.
I got you. We're going to check out our next dyno. So this dyno here, you can obviously tell, is backed in.
Yeah.
So this bike lives on this dyno. It'll never get removed off this dyno. And if we've got to do anything to it, we rebuild the motor, we do whatever, we just do it all right here. This bike has 2 complete sets of wiring harnesses on it. Yeah, so 2 sets of hand controls, 2 sets of gauges on everything, right? So there's 2 complete wiring harnesses, and it's funky looking, but it serves its purpose. And what that allows us to do is test multiple different module configurations right here and never have to remove this bike. Same with the motor behind you. That's a full running bike right there behind you, test stand. We can test all of our earlier cable stuff there. We can test 2 different throttle by wires here. And then back here in the corner, we keep our little baby V-Rod, because it just lives there and tests V-Rod modules. Even though there's not a lot of people buying V-Rod modules today, but you gotta keep it around.
So this is essentially where y'all bench test everything.
Yep, this is all bench testing. Again, everything here is going to be 100% tested before it leaves this facility. So everything's going to get physically plugged up. We're going to check all the functionalities of the ECM before we carry it down to shipping, and Miss Jen puts it in a package and ships it out to you. That's our next project. I don't know. I'll get to it one of these days. It's either going to be like a super stripped down all machine drag bike, or I'm going to build a big motor cholo bike. And I'm like talking to Hoffman Designs about making me some carbon fiber cholo fenders that he said he was going to have me for Daytona.
Oh, y'all are going down there then?
Yeah, we'll be in Daytona. Like I said, we don't set up, but what we do is we go down, we hang out with all of our dealers. Like, you go down there to Teddy Morris at Daytona, Harley now, it's like 6 dealers there that are all ours, that are selling our products. So we just go float around, hang out, chill with our dealers, talk to customers, then we go to the show. So it's kind of how we do most of the rallies now. Sturgis, we're definitely there, set up for Sturgis, got our big awning and everything set up with us there. So.
Well, since we're in R&D, how difficult was it? Because Harley introduced a lot of shit in 23.5.
Yeah, for sure.
Ride modes.
Yep.
A lot of intelligence on the bike that wasn't there in previous models.
Yeah.
How difficult was that to reverse engineer and adapt? How much did it change, and how much?
Yeah, well,
how hard was it?
I think the good thing is we never have to worry about getting in a rhythm, because Harley changes it up so often. Like every year it's something new. These new bikes, and so they're called center cooled bikes.
Yeah.
They're called center cooled bikes. Internet, they're called center cooled bikes. Start calling them that. Because it's a lot of confusion, because there's half year, and so people aren't sure which bike they have, because there's not like a new name. So these are the center cooled bikes. They do have 2 wiring harnesses on them, like 2 can harnesses.
Yeah.
That are kind of independent of one another. So getting that information from one side to the other was pretty difficult. The good thing is, like with the new motor and the changes there, that hasn't really been something that was a hurdle for us. We are insanely close on releasing BVT.
I was just getting ready to ask, how close are y'all to BVT?
So here's how we do things. We like to do like big small, right? So we started out, okay, let's get non-BBT, this new wiring platform, let's get that out. Let's feel comfortable with it, be 100% on it. Then we'll release BBT. We've got BBT out right now with some manufacturers doing some testing along with us with their products, and it's all been going swimmingly. That's been great. So I'm expecting maybe 3 months that we should have like a full release for this variable valve timing stuff is what I'm expecting. And that's me being conservative.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll be to market a little before that. But we dropped off number one, the first one that we made. We hand delivered it up to Michigan to Baker Transmission because they couldn't really move forward on their transmissions with the stock ECM on these bikes because it wasn't allowing enough of a gear ratio move. So they needed it to be able to get their product going. We got them one up there, boom, we started working together and making sure that everything was working. It is. And so it's just getting to that little final step and, you know, getting all the feedback that we can take in and know anything, hey, we need to do this or change that before we do a full release.
You mentioned Baker.
Yeah.
I just thought about it. I'm like, they really can't make a new grudge box unless they've got
the way these new bikes are going, and that's what we've really figured out, right, is these new bikes are so electronics heavy that changing anything on them becomes very difficult unless you have some way to compensate for it, like through a tuner. Absolutely. So we figured out through gear ratios. We've heard from some lighting companies that are wanting, you know, some help with some things, and so a lot of people are seeing like, hey, you have to be in the electronics field to be able to continue with these bikes how they need to go. So. And we're pretty fortunate that we were already in that spot.
So, so
it worked out pretty well. We'll kind of do a full, like, finished walkthrough, and then we'll probably end up back in here.
Sweet, that works.
Take a left, walk out here in the machine shop. So this is our machine shop here. Guys, we make, every case gets made in-house. We tool all that. We build our air springs for our suspension in-house. As much as we can possibly do right here on site, we're going to do it right here. Kind of walk through, we'll check out the machine shop. These are probably our two newest machines. Our Daytona over here is what we're going to do to build all of our air springs and everything for our suspension system, so it's a full one touch, right? So it's going to automatically just spit out this cylinder here at the bottom when we're running those. And then over here, this machine is dedicated to only running the new style cases. So 2021 and up, this is all this machine does is run those cases for those bikes alone.
And it starts with that raw block right there.
Yep. Comes in like this and
comes out like that.
Something like that.
Nice.
Let's go check out electronics.
So you can pop 24 at a time, looks like.
Yeah, it's a double turret.
Yep.
We went through back in 21, 22, and really did a complete overhaul in our machine shop to up the productivity there and the work through, and we actually did an increase during that time period when we kind of reworked our entire workflow of our machine shop. We ended up getting an increase of like 127%. It was like a pretty wild number that we were able to increase production by through there. Through here is going to be like our tech support department where everybody can do everything remotely and help work on your bike. Sat there working on suspension stuff for us. Through here is just going to kind of be like some final assembly type stuff for our suspension. We use JRI coilovers that are designed to our specifications. We run a coilover with an air spring with our iRIDE suspension. So that suspension is going to automatically lower the bike when you come to a stop. And then when you take it back off, it's going to start raising the bike up based on your presets and your load. So if you go 1 up, 2 up, it's going to adjust the sag on the suspension for you, so you get the most comfort and performance out of it at the same time. So it's a really, really great product. Handles extremely well. And through here is just going to be our kind of our shipping area. Jen here is lasering up some cases for us, getting those ready to go to the ECMs.
Now, when y'all are at Daytona, your dealers are probably installing iRIDE on the spot. And that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Cycle Solutions will be down there installing iRIDE. I believe Black Label Performance will be installing iRIDE. It's down there as well.
Yeah.
And then for our ECMs, I mean, D&D, Trask, Black Label,
Oh, yeah,
Chromeworks,
Yep.
HPI, all those guys are all going to be installing our ECMs while we're down there. So this is our electronics department down here. This is going to be where we do all of our circuit boards, all of our wiring, things like that. We're going to test and production down here as well. All of our coatings that'll go on our ECMs will happen down here before they go up and start being put together for testing. Let's go check it out in here real quick. Hey, Ricky. Hey.
Oh, shit.
So this is our SMT room. And this is pretty much where we're going to...
Where the magic happens.
This is where everything kind of starts right here. So everything's going to come in here. Your boards are going to start getting set here. This is what's going to put all the traces and everything in. Once the boards come in, once they move from there, they're going to run through this machine. This is essentially like a CNC pick and place. So it's going to start setting every one of the components in where you need them to go on that board. And then once that's done, it's going to run on through here. And this is just a big oven, so it's just going to heat and cool through different points, and it's going to set all the solder joints. And then when they come out, they're going to come out looking like this right here.
And are these, which ones are these?
So this right here would be like for 17 through 20 touring and some of your Softail stuff as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like your triple-headed ones here. Really, when it comes down to it, you know, the components are the components. Yeah, we have to may add, you know, a processor here or whatever, but it's the headers and the size.
It's how it mates up to the bike and how it fits on the bike that really changes you.
That's the hardest thing, right? So, you know, obviously these little headers here, we're not making those in house, right? Because they're all extrusion molded and things like that. So if Harley does like a big header change on their ECM, that's going to put us behind the curve a little bit. We've got to have all that tooled. We got to design it, you know, and have all that built. But as far as the circuit boards, because we do it all here, we can make it happen pretty fast. So from here, it's going to run through here. This is essentially just an X-ray machine. And it's just going to kind of look at all the continuity of everything. And once that's done, David here is going to give it its final check off, and then they're going to get ready to have some potting put on them, and then we're going to put them together. So that is electronics.
These guys really do everything in house. It's impressive. When they say American made, this is American made.
Yeah, we try pretty hard. If we can buy it from America, we do our damnedest to do that. We also try to work really hard on like locally sourcing some things too. So like our anodizing's 3 hours from here. You know what I mean? We try to do things like that too, and that's just how we like to kind of operate. So these boards here, those are for the iRIDE. These are actually. So these have been conformal coated, so they have this like weird little sheen to them. You can see they're kind of shiny. That is essentially a nanoparticle that we're spraying over everything. You can see here like these sensors, they've got like this, we can pull that back out, but it's going to keep everything protected from dust and grime,
moisture,
water,
humidity, all that shit.
Because we have kind of there's a form that we have to keep because we want to keep all that as small as possible. Then when you go to the ECMs, we're going to use like a 2-part epoxy there because we've got the room to fill up the case. And you can see some over here that she's poured, I believe. Or some getting ready.
Getting ready to be poured.
Getting ready to be poured now. And she'll be doing those in just a moment. She's getting the foam all set on the connectors now. Those are kind of our fast connectors. That's how we're going to load the firmwares in through there and all that. So I think that's pretty much the place right there, man.
This is cool.
For the most part, this is us.
There it is. You just saw the behind the scenes at a place that is 100% American made here. Thundermax. Thanks to Jake and everybody here. They were very welcoming. They showed us everything. Man, I'm not kidding. And you guys saw everything. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor, like, subscribe, click notification bell, share it with your friends. All that stuff's free to you, and it does help the channel. Always ride safe.
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah. Asshole.
Really?
Peace out, bitches!